One of the things that we didn't think was very clear yesterday was how the confidentiality form was going to work. And so Virginia's going to talk about the protocol for that.
Good morning, everyone. The confidentiality form is in the left-hand side pocket of the training folder, and they're in all of the training manuals. So your field staff, some of them are on the call, some that aren't, they'll all have that confidentiality form in there, the 048. And I think what Robert wasn't clear on is who signs it. And typically what happens when NAS turns the questionnaires over to you, the NAS state staff will have you sign this form, and he will witness it for you. And then when your field people, when you do your training with your field staff, with your office people, with anyone that will be seeing the data on the questionnaires, you have them fill out and complete an 048 form, and then you will be the witness for them. So it's really upon NAS to sign it for just the coordinator, and then you'll be the witness on the others. So hopefully that helps.
Jason, this is Cyrus. Does that include on people that they join in as an add-on or some other issues that they like to do something?
Do you mean like the university extension people, Cyrus?
Yes.
Yes, they would all need to sign one of these. Anybody that helps with the farm would need to do that. I guess the only one that may not have
to even to fill out questionnaires.
What's that?
I said they're also, if they're willing to fill out our questionnaires, that's okay for them to sign the confidentiality form and then go ahead and do it.
Cyrus, the producers do not sign the confidentiality form. Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking extension folks if they want to do NAHMS VMO form for us.
Yes.
Is that okay for them to sign the confidentiality form and then do it?
Is that okay with you? If they want to do that?
I'm asking you guys, is it okay with you guys as far as the confidentiality is concerned? I'm okay.
Well, as long as they sign the form and everything is good in that regard, I think that's fine. But the ultimate decision, if you want to let them do that, is up to you.
That's fine. Yeah, as long as the confidentiality is okay, then they have as good as knowledge as I do. So I don't see any difference.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Jason, if they're helping with the calf component, they would have to sign those anyway. So.
Okay. And then you will need to send all the signed confidentiality forms to Abby here. And if NAS wants copies, we'll get them copies. So you just send them to us.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, this is Tom. What now? I think I know the answer, but what happens to those confidentiality forms that the folks who work on the farm, that is the field folks, sign? That stays here, or do you get those?
We get those as well. We get all the confidentiality forms here in Fort Collins, and we keep them on file, and so that if NAS wants to see them, they're always locked in our NAS lab, and we have record of everyone that has signed one.
Okay, when do you need those? At the end of it all, or as soon as we get them?
After the training? Just after your training, so probably in the next month before we actually start going out. When you train your field staff, you'll usually have them signed. If you can just go ahead and send those to us, we'd appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, and that would be right, except there may be some people that we recruit later on, and okay, we would have them sign them down the road. So, yeah.
And that's perfect. Just stick them in with some questionnaires you're sending or something, okay, and that'll work too, Tom.
Okay, dope.
This is Lynn. This is no different than it has been in the past, right?
No, it isn't, Lynn. But we have some people that are new as coordinators, so I just wasn't sure that they would be clear. This is the same as it's worked, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, would you repeat how the coordinators, who witnesses the coordinators signing those, or repeat that, please?
Yes. So the state staff that works with NAS, so a NAS employee he or she, when they turn those questionnaires and names over to you, they will have you sign this confidentiality form. You fill it out, you sign it, and then witnessed by will be the NAHMS person. That's only for the coordinators.
Okay, but is somebody, then somebody from NAHMS is physically going to hand me these?
And that, okay, that's what I wasn't sure. Abby and I were just talking about that question before we walked in. I'm not sure how it happens. Sometimes do they mail these to you, or?
They always mail it to us.
Okay, if they do that, then what you should do is just go ahead and sign it, signature, and because Robert gave, you know, we don't have a NAHMS person. When we do our training via Food Shield, we don't have a NAHMS person. Maybe what you can do is just sign yours, and you can leave it blank, and we'll have one of our NAHMS confidential, like Chris Cockrell and Bruce Wagner, our confidentiality agents here in Fort Collins, and I'll have one of them sign it.
Okay. That's just what I was wondering, because we're so far apart, and I didn't figure that they would be hand carrying it to me. So.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we don't. The expectation is not that you will drive 100 miles to get that signature. Just go ahead and send it in, and I'll have one of the people here sign it. Because you heard the talk from Robert, you can read the form, you understand what you're filling out there.
Okay.
Okay? Any other questions? Okay, Jason, I think what's happening.
Jason Baldwin, are you on the call?
I have 70.
He should try again.
I'm here. I was muted. Sorry.
Yeah, we've got 47 people, and we're getting emails saying that people are getting rejected. Any ideas? Yesterday we had
70. We had 50-some.
50-some lines yesterday.
People are still getting in, though.
Yeah, there should be plenty of lines. I don't know.
He needs to try again, maybe.
So if you're on the call but you haven't been able to get on Food Shield, can you just try logging in again and see? I guess one option is we can lose one of our slots here in Fort Collins for you.
Jason, I could not get to the Food Shield yesterday either, but I just listened all day. So, of course, it's because of my location, but...
Okay. It looks like those folks that said they weren't able to get in are now getting in.
Okay, good.
All right, so any more questions for Virginia? Any questions from yesterday? Any feedback that you can provide us, and we'll be sending out some things to get some feedback on our speakers, would be good to give back to them. So be thinking about that. What I want to go ahead and do is go through the calf component, and this will be a little bit quick. And I know there's a lot of people on the line who haven't maybe seen any of the information on the calf component, so I'm going to go through the whole thing quickly, and then in 20 minutes we're going to have Dr. Dale Moore come on and give a talk about lameness. So we'll go ahead and get started.
The number of participants is not increasing, so I think still people are not coming in.
Yep, I just got bumped again.
I keep hitting accept, and and the number of participants is
Okay.
increasing.
Well, I apologize. We can send these presentations out to folks afterward. They told us we had 75 lines, so I apologize. Oh, it looks like everybody's getting kicked out. Well, we don't know all the folks' names. All right, so this is the states. Everybody should recognize those, since you're probably from one of those states or you wouldn't be with us today. The timelines, we went over these quickly yesterday, but the NAHMS visit is going on. We'll be completing on February 7th. We anticipate that all the information will be handed over to you guys and that you can start the VMO questionnaire March 10th to May 30th. And then the calf component obviously will start in March and then go through probably May of next time. These are the objectives, and I think everybody's probably seen the info sheet that we put out with the study. It's on our website. It's in the training materials. If you haven't seen it, it is, like I say, it is available on the website. We can send you the link. These are the objectives for the study, and this morning we're really going to focus on number 4, which is to evaluate calf health from birth to weaning. This is an overview of the heifer calf component. So the goal is to enroll 300 farms. Ideally, we'd like to average 2 calves per month for 12 months, so a total of 24 calves per farm. Larger farms can enroll up to 4 calves every other month. What we're trying to do with that is be as efficient as we can with our shipping. All newborn calves that are enrolled will collect ear notches from those calves, and the IDEX SNAP test, which is an on-farm test, will be used for BVD testing. All we really want to do with the BVD test is exclude any BVD positives from the heifer calf component. We don't want to be following them for disease incidents and other health issues if they're BVD positive. According to the IDEX instructions, if a calf is positive, they recommend retesting it again in 21 days. If it's still positive, then ideally the owner would get rid of it, but obviously we're not in that business of telling them what to do with them. We can just tell them that the calf isn't eligible for the study if it is BVD positive. From half of the calves that are enrolled, we want to get a colostrum sample prior to the calf being fed so that we can look at quality of those, and so we're going to be checking colostrum using a Brix refractometer and also IgG. And then all the enrolled calves, we want to collect serum from 1 to 5 days of age, where we're going to also do Brix, IgG, and also serum total protein on those calves. So 7,200 calves total. All those will be tested for BVD. One thing on the BVD, if the farm is already testing for BVD and they don't want to do another ear notch, we'll take those results. If they get a negative BVD test from another lab, that's fine with us. We ran into that issue and decided that they don't need to use our test to rule out those BVD positive calves. Is a question? Okay, so that's 7,200 calves. 3,600 of those would have a sample of colostrum collected. 7,200 would have serum. From half of those calves, so 3,600 calves, we're going to collect individual fecal samples at 2 to 4 weeks of age, and those are going to be evaluated for Cryptosporidium, Giardia, Microsporidium, Blastocystis.
Okay, so this is Cyrus. Are you saying that they have to keep all of those calves and not feed them till we test them for BVD? I mean for colostrum or immunoglobulin?
No, they don't. They can take, and we'll go through that, but what they can do is we'll have a vial, they get a sample of colostrum, they throw that in the freezer, and they feed the calf.
Oh, okay.
When you or whoever's going to be managing that farm in terms of the calf component, they can just pick those samples up out of the freezer. Okay. Yeah, they don't wait. They just do their normal protocol. We just want, right before they feed that calf, to grab a sample of colostrum. Okay. The next thing is the calf health card, and that probably should have been on top of this list because that's really recording all the information about the calf that occurs from the time of calving through weaning, and we'll go through that in a little bit more detail in a minute.
Hey, Jason?
Yep.
What's the, you want serum from these calves at 1 to 5 days of age?
Right.
And I assume our VMOs are going to be drawing that. It's kind of a tight window there.
Right. We're going to talk a little bit about resources because when we first proposed this longitudinal study and talked to some of the VMOs, there was a concern about the amount of time they would have available to do this. And so there are multiple options, and we'll kind of go through those in a little bit, but Yeah,
Okay.
we definitely thought about that and tried to come up with some options for you.
Okay.
So these are the sections of the calf health card. I've got on the next slide just kind of a snapshot of the first page. But so we want identification, we want information on birth, who the dam was, their lactation number, whether they had a dystocia event, twins, triplets, anything like that. Colostrum feeding data, so we're going to collect, like I said, from half those calves a sample of colostrum, but we want to know how much was fed, how it was fed, and so forth. Pre-weaning, I'm going to have to pull out my form now to look and make sure I'm covering. In the pre-weaning data, it's really more on who takes care of the calves, where they're housed, whether they have any kind of ventilation, bedding, etc. Oops. Okay. So there was a question that came up about communicating BVD results to the farm vet. I think that's between the producer and their veterinarian. Obviously, if their veterinarian can be informed, that would probably be a good thing. Their veterinarian may actually be doing the testing, depending on how it's set up in terms of resources. For milk feeding and milk consumption, I think yesterday's talk by Dr. McGurk really showed that milk feeding is not the same as it used to be, and so we've put together a couple sections that hopefully accurately collect what type of milk or milk replacer they're feeding, what they're adding to it, and then the amount. And so the goal is to be able to estimate total amount of milk or milk replacer that's consumed during the pre-weaning period. And then in the next section, we're going to be looking at growth of those calves. And so we can look at average daily gain. We can look at potentially some kind of feed efficiency type measurements as well. For the growth, we're hoping that they can do a weight based on the girth tape and a hip height every 2 weeks. Really starting with a birth weight, if we can get a birth weight on the calves, and then all the way through weaning. And obviously that doesn't have to be every 2 weeks. That would be ideal, and that's something that the farm personnel can do. The next section in the calf health card is the biological sampling record, and that just goes through when was the blood drawn for the total protein and the Brix reading and the IgG. The ear notch testing was done, and what was the result of that? Obviously, anybody that fills out the calf health card, if it continues, that should be a negative result, but we want to have that recorded. And then for those calves that have fecal sample collected, we'll have that data as well. Any vaccinations that the calves receive in the pre-weaning period, we have a spot to record that. And then the next section is really probably one of the most important sections, and that's disease incidence and treatment. We've got 6 columns on the calf health card to record different illnesses. And we've got the first section has the dates you'll fill in for when the disease started or illness started, and then the final treatment date in case it goes multiple days. And each column is meant for a single disease episode, so if they're treating scours for 3 days, that's one column. The signs associated with that calf, and then the next section goes through the treatments. Part of the treatments has a place to put any drugs that are used, and we have on the very back page of the calf health card are 36 commonly used or fairly commonly used products in calves. If they're treating a calf or calves with something that's not listed on there, we have an extra section where you can write that in, and then it's already got an assigned code. If the calf didn't have any illness during the pre-weaning period, there's a box for that. So if we just got back a blank sheet, we wouldn't know whether it just didn't get recorded, or so we put a checkbox in that if the calf was healthy and had no treatments, you can mark that. If the calf dies, we want to know that, and I think that we have somewhere they need to be alive at probably a week or so of age in order to continue. Otherwise, we just don't have enough information on that calf to really say much. And then the last section goes through the weaning date. We also, on the back page of the calf health card, have a section for notes. So if there's something unusual that you think we should be aware of, but it's not captured in the above sections, you can write that in there. This is just a little bit of the first page of the health card. We did do this, and it looks very busy, and it is a little bit busy, but the biggest reason is because we have English and Spanish on the card. We tried doing 2 different cards, and that really didn't work very well. So I think when we first started enrolling calves on our pilots on 3 Colorado dairies here, I think it took us about 10 minutes, maybe even less than that, to fill out a card through that calving event and the colostrum feeding information. So it really doesn't take very long to go through and fill it out. And then monitoring that calf over time is what's going to be critical. I'm going to skip through these slides, but they will be available, essentially just going through when we're collecting what. IDEX SNAP test, there's links in the PowerPoint that go through the testing instructions and BVD testing in general. These kits do need to be refrigerated, and so the plan is to send these out to the states, probably put the order in later this month for shipment in early March. And what we thought we'd try to do is get about half of what we think your state will need sent to you in that initial shipment. And so we need to communicate a little bit back and forth with Abby about freezer space or refrigerator space and how many actual kits that you'd be able to accommodate at one time. And we realized that, and IDEX is more than willing to ship it 3 or 4 places in a state if that's where the refrigeration and where it's going to be used within the state. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. The components have to be at room temp, so you have to pull it out about a half an hour before testing. It really is not a calf side test. You really need to do it inside somewhere. The entire test takes about 20 minutes, and then, like I said, repeat in 3 weeks if it's positive. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Camilla to go through the calf colostrum and blood kit.
Hi, everyone. I have some information about the Food Shield access too. So if you are not able to access Food Shield, I would recommend that you keep trying every now and then, because I think there's just a total cap on meetings, and there may be other meetings going on right now. So as people drop off other meetings, we will have more slots available. So our number of participants is increasing slowly. We have 52 now, and we only had 47 allowed before. So just keep trying every now and then, and hopefully you'll get in.
Excuse me, I was on, but it kicked me off, so now I can't get back in. So I'll keep trying.
Keep trying, yeah.
We apologize for that. We didn't anticipate. We anticipated needing less than 70, which we do, but that's what they told us we had.
Okay, so the kits for the calf component, so all the coordinators should have received one of each of the kits. So for the calf component, there will be 4 boxes. So you'll have an initial calf colostrum and blood kit, a regular calf colostrum and blood kit, a calf fecal kit, and then also a supplemental shipping box. Are there any questions about those up front? Just I assume you guys have had a chance to look at them, hopefully, or...
I didn't get one, but maybe it got sent to the area office. I don't know.
Okay. So if when you have a chance to look at them after this, when you get them, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. It can be a little bit confusing. So anyway, there is the 2 calf colostrum and blood kits, the initial one and the regular one. The only difference is that the initial kit has a Ziploc bag with a few extra supplies that are reusable tools, and that includes an ear notcher, a stopwatch to use for the BVD, with the BVD test kit, 5 extra serum separator tubes, 4 permanent markers that you can use for the health card, and also a dairy, like a calf weight tape or growth tape. So those are only in the initial kit, and each operation only needs one of those initial kits. That's why we label them differently, so that you'll know. And the calf colostrum and blood kits are all numbered, and they have the kit number on the top of the box on a white label. And that's tracked, of course. So Abby's tracking which coordinator gets which kits. So in case we have problems with those kits, we can trace them back to the coordinator and the operation. So the other kit is the calf fecal kit, and it's just very simple, 2 containers for the fecal samples from 2 different calves. And then the supplemental shipping box, which has just the paperwork for collecting or for shipping samples, either blood and colostrum or fecal samples. And those will be needed for small and medium operations that have calves that are born more than 5 days apart, so that the samples will have to be collected and shipped at separate times. So then you'll need to use the sampling supplies from the original kits, either the colostrum and blood kit or the fecal kit, and also the labels from the calf colostrum and blood kit. And the only thing that's in the shipping box is the data collection records and the air bills, and then an instruction sheet for how to ship them. So the air bills are labeled so that it'll be easy to pick the correct paperwork for the type of samples you have. So you just need one type of supplemental shipping box. It has the paperwork for both colostrum and blood samples and for fecal samples. So you may need up to 4 of those for each of the small operations, depending on how many calves are born, how far apart. I think that's about it. The one important thing to remember is that all the labels for both the fecal samples and the blood and colostrum samples are in the colostrum and blood kit. So if you go to fecal samples, you need to remember to bring the labels from that kit. It's all contained in the paperwork in that kit. Questions?
Yeah, could you say that last part again, please?
About the label?
Yes.
So the labels that you need for the forms and the samples, for both the fecal samples and the blood and colostrum samples, are included in the colostrum and blood kit. So the calf fecal kit doesn't have any labels. There's one sheet of labels that have labels for 5 calves, just in case you need some extra labels. And there are 11 labels per calf, and you'll need to write in the ear tag number for the calf on each of the labels. And those labels are for the data collection records for the samples. So there should be more labels than you need, but...
okay, but they're in the kit that's labeled CCB.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, okay.
What sort of shipping container or box are we be using?
There are styrofoam standard styrofoam biological sample shipping boxes that have come with ice packs and an absorbent sheet.
Is there a likelihood that we would be short of those boxes?
If you have small or medium operations that have calves that are born more than 5 days apart, you will need extra shipping boxes.
That's kind of what I was thinking, that it could run into a shortage there if we're not careful.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to make sure you order enough of those if you have a small or medium operation from Abby, and you order them the same way you order the kits.
Okay.
And they're just, Camilla, they're just called the supplemental kit, right?
Supplemental shipping boxes.
Shipping boxes.
Mhm.
And Camilla has put a video together too that we'll post that'll go through this as well. So that's another resource that we'll have available.
So Jason, we get all of these in a PowerPoint presentation also?
Yes, this PowerPoint will be available as well.
Okay.